Tom Mills here, and I told you I would do a live one of these days, and I'm doing it. Today ended up being a really hectic day, so I didn't get near the stuff done before school started that I wanted to, and today was a lot of crisis, organization and getting things together, which ended up working out okay. So, but I ordered a bunch of paces and realized all these are out of organized and they're all messed up and duplicates, and well, the duplicates are okay, but out of place and that kind of thing. So I figure if I'm going to do this, we might as well hang out with you guys so we can talk at the same time. Hey there, guys. Julie and Chicken Noodle Girl and Mama Gigi. Good to see ya. Sorry, it's a bit hectic today on the live. It was the Wi-Fi. For some reason, when the battery gets low on the Wi-Fi, it doesn't work super hot. So that's my guess, anyways. Hey there, Stacy. Glad you could make it. Hey, Rebecca, Barbara. Ah, yeah. This won't be as exciting. Maybe we'll have some fun homeschool conversations, but it's going to be boring probably. But good way to hang out. Hey there, Debbie and Diane, Anne Marie, Angela, Jackie. It's very quiet here, so the privileges started back up. All summer I meant to redo our privilege system. So the kids, our privilege system, if you don't know, they have certain requirements they have to do throughout the week. And if depending on how much of these requirements that they do, they get to be on different levels of privilege. We use the ACE homeschool curriculum, so the privilege levels are ACE, which is the same ones we did when I was administrator of a Christian school. And on the E privilege, they can basically play computer whenever they want. They can go to bed later. All kinds of benefits. Anyways, hey, Jen, Diana, Debbie, Kim, Tanya. So anyways, they had different privileges. I didn't do it all summer. I kept thinking, well, I'm going to have new requirements for summer, and I didn't. We had, if they worked 15 minutes in the garden every day, they could be the best privilege just that one day. So that ended up being all they had to do. So they're now getting back to regular privileges, which means they have to have maintained a certain amount of work the week prior. And so that is nothing because they just started school. There was no week prior. So this has always been a notoriously quiet, weird week for the kids. So nobody's on privilege this week. So Judah and Asher are literally playing chess over there. Which I kind of like. It's kind of a neat change to have it kind of quiet. Listen. It's so quiet. Can you hear me whisper? Why did Justus go to public school? Because he wanted to. Basically what it comes down to. Some kids, some things work better for some than others. We don't have a mom here all the time. And we're homeschooling still, but I'm working my business full time. And so I'm checking their work when I get home. I have other kids check his work. And the really big thing is that there's no one to encourage him. Because some kids need more encouragement. And so they start getting slow and think, oh, they're bored and they're fiddling around and there's not someone there to crack the whip, and encouragement, say, come on, you can do it, and that kind of thing. And Justice he needs more direction in that, and plus he was wanting to make a lot more friends, and so the social aspect was very attractive to him. So he wanted to do it, and I prayed about it and thought about it, and I'm not in an ideal situation, so you got to just navigate the waters as you do them. So he wanted to do it, and that's what we're doing. So it worked out really well. The teachers have been really nice. Some of the worries I had is always the curriculum stuff that the public schools use. Wyoming is somewhat better than a lot of states as far as some of the weird, creepy studies that maybe they do, and some of the strange curriculums that I would have had a problem with. Maybe some of you would, maybe you wouldn't. But for me anyways, there's less of that here. And so he's been doing it, and he loves it. He absolutely enjoys school. So, and you know what? I got a little thing on an app on my phone. I can check his grades. He's getting all A's, one B plus. So I'm really proud of him. So it's what works for us. So any other kids interested in going to public school now that Justus is going? No, they haven't, but it wouldn't surprise me if that doesn't happen. So I can picture possibly Eden or maybe Claudia. But Claudia is interesting because you guys know Claudia, she's very different. She's very boisterous and trendy and fun and outspoken, but she's a really good student, like really good. So she does getting great grades, 100% on everything, and so I'm not sure how that will go. I'm obviously going to encourage still homeschooling, as I would prefer that. I think it's a better way to go, but it may not be for everybody, and I'm not going to stand in their way. Like I said, I'm not in an ideal situation. If I was, maybe the decisions would be different. Sure, Tanya, our privilege system. So, so this is what I have on the markets at Laminating, so I can do dry erase stuff. And this shows they have to do a certain number of pages a day to get the A privilege. It's different for every kid. I've kind of adjusted it as we went because some kids just work faster than others and some kids just work slower. Like Judah works very slow. He's very thorough and he gets good grades, but he's a very slow worker. And like Asher was super fast. And so every kid's just different. And so I kind of tailor it to them. So you kind of see how much work they can complete in a day. And like for instance, some of the kids like Eden had to do 17 pages a day to get on A, 18 to get on C, 19 to get on E, and that's an average. So in the past, when Andrea was alive, we had one by stars, meaning they had to have, when they finished a whole workbook, they got a star. And when they had a certain number of stars, they could get on different privileges. But I always kind of didn't like the star system because sometimes it might take them many weeks to finish one book, and then they didn't. When I didn't get on privilege, I didn't think that was fair because they were still working hard. So right now we're doing the pages, and they gotta have. Then we have demerits. So demerit is just saying they get in trouble, so to speak. Certain things will give you demerits if you don't score correctly on your work, or if you talk back to the teacher, that kind of thing, or you're just being generally naughty. You can get a demerit, and you can't get more than 15 in a week for A. No more than 10 in a week for C, 5 in a week for E. They have to have their scripture memory verse last month's for A and C, and they have to have this month's and last month's memory verse said to be on the E privilege. They have to do a service project, which is a special project above and beyond chores. 2 of them for E or 1 of them for C. And I recently changed, they had to read stories to the little girls because that was one of the things that I wish they had more stories read to them. Daddy doesn't have time to read stories very often, and that's something that I feel like, I don't know, just needs to be done. So they have to read, to C, they have to read 1 story to a little kid and 2 stories for E. And then for the privileges, what they get is if they're on A privilege, they can play their computer Fridays after 5 and on the weekends. On C, they can play weekends after 5, or weekdays after 5 and on the weekends. And on E, they can play it whenever they want. Any free time, which is, of course, after school is done. So, anyways, they get their tablets, they get out of bed tickets, they can get out of bed whenever they want, there's choice tickets, there's all these different things. Hey there, Lisa. I actually begged my mom to homeschool me, never did. I didn't enjoy public school. I mean, every kid's a little different. Some of the kids I desperately do not want to have to go. Some probably wouldn't care. And, Justus really did want to go. And, I'm still the parent, and I still can decide how to educate my children. And I think homeschooling is a better environment for kids. But it's not universal. Obviously, we're doing it with Justus, and I'm very glad to do it. He's excelling in it. He's doing a good job. He's making lots of friends, and I see him having a good foundation in godly principles, and he's sticking to them. So it's been working very well for us. I went to public school. I turned out fine. So, like I said, if Andrea was alive still, it probably wouldn't be happening. Not because she would have anything to say about it, just because it wouldn't be as required. I mean, some kids need constant watching and motivating and encouraging, and Justus was one of those. He needed more direction. We were just talking about the privilege levels for Justus. It's probably going to be the school requirements are going to be all replaced by getting good grades. So it's going to be entirely based on grades, and the boys are kind of jealous because once I figured this out for sure, he could probably get unprivileged right away, whereas everybody else can't be unprivileged the first week. So, good question, Emily. I'm not doing anything right now. I'm supposed to be organizing. So what I needed to do is these are all our workbooks. And so we have the little packets. This is a social studies, 1051. So this is like ninth grade. And they have to finish this little workbook and we'll move on to the next one. And they finish. I mean, I usually plan on them doing about 12 workbooks per year per subject. And so I wanted to make sure I had 12 of each for them to go forward so we'd have them ready to go. We obviously have a big library of books already. And so I had to go through and see if we had some, if we were missing some, and I had to order, but that took me all day to figure out what we needed. I should have done it weeks ago, and I did not. So I noticed when I was doing this that they're out of order. I found some that were misplaced. I probably ordered some I didn't need to order. Things have fallen down and got lost and overpacked, and some stuff's missed out of order with the score keys. Down here we have the answer keys. These are the score keys, the answer keys to the books. And the kids score their own work. They're stored in a different location for them to check their work. And so they have to put their pencil down, bring their book up to a scoring station, score, mark their answers wrong, put the score key away, go back, sit down, and then fix their work. Then go back up and check again. And so these got to be in order, and they're kind of out of order. There was a time when Andrea would put the score keys for each kid. For instance, was an Eden bookmark, and it had all of Eden's score keys right here that she needed for the year, which is a very convenient way for Eden to get her score keys out. But without someone here updating that all the time, that just means we have a whole bunch of score keys out of place, and I don't know if we're missing them, we don't have them, and so it's been a problem. I didn't realize you were a homeschool teacher, Stacy. I think it's always up to the parents, just keep an eye on what they're doing. Yeah, obviously there's concerns I have with public school, but the good news is I've seen Justus flourish. Like, for instance, today he was in a parade that we went by and watched. It was the homecoming parade, and he was on a float, which was a trailer behind a truck, all decorated that they decorated, and had his entire class, the whole ninth grade class on it. How many people were on your float, Justus?
Like, I don't know. I don't really know.
I'm going to take a guess, 30, 40 kids. That's probably pretty accurate. So that's the entire ninth grade class is 30 or 40 kids. So it's small, and so they all know each other. In fact, when they walked by, it's funny because I've been looking for Justus the whole time in this parade, and a throat went by and says, "Hey, there's Justus's dad. Hey, Justus's dad." I'm like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Where's Justus? He's not on that float." I looked over and over, but then I found out later on. He said, "You didn't see him? He was on that float." So I was sad that I didn't see him, but apparently Justus saw us. So I guess that was important enough. If Justus decides he doesn't like public school, let him come back to homeschool the same year. Absolutely. If he decides it's not for him, we can take him out at any time, and he can go back to homeschooling. But based on his current attitude, I cannot imagine that happening. He's ecstatic about it, so he's having so much fun. Is he getting interested in any sports or clubs at school? Are you, Justus?
I'm right here.
I know. Are you getting interested in any sports or clubs or anything at school?
I don't know, probably not.
He's been going to every activity. He went already to a late night movie night at school. where they had popcorn and movies. They watched Top Gun 2. He went to this called the Burning of the M. It's a thing they do every year where they have a big logo of the school and they set it on fire. What else did they do? He's been dressing up for these events. He dressed up as a barbecuing dad and wearing a jersey. He's done all this stuff. He's loving it. So I'm assuming he'll be interested in club stuff once he gets to that point. Homeschool one child and an adult with a master's degree. That's awesome, Debbie. Who's getting ready to finish? Ooh, not really anybody at the moment. Asher finished. He finished, about 3/4 through the year, last year. The next one will be probably Judah to finish, but he's 10th grade, so he's still got some time. So, has Asher always been helpful with the littles? Yeah, he always has, always. When Andrea was in the hospital, that's one of the things we talked about, is that because Hannah had just been breastfeeding and she stopped breastfeeding because Andrea had to go to the hospital. And she said, I'm so glad that Hannah has Asher, because all of a sudden her mommy's gone and her daddy's gone, and at least he had Asher who could look after her. So it was great. Judah's in 10th grade. He's a little lower in a couple subjects, and it makes him really nervous. But actually, I think he just put in his 2-week notice at work. He was really concerned that he would be able to stay on top of school and get done in a speed that he wants to get done. And so he put in his 2 weeks today. So he's going to just focus on school and probably go back in summertime and see how things are going. So. Do Asher and Thomas take a GE test at AC or they get a diploma? No, they get a diploma. I mean, a diploma is not really anything. All of a diploma says is that you've completed your curriculum, your school. And so it doesn't tell you what your grades are. It doesn't tell you if you got good grades. It just tells you you got enough credits to pass. And so we have little diplomas we make and print up and make for them. And you think, well, is that accredited? Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. Again, the schools are only looking to see if they got good grades. Most of the time, especially if they go to colleges or something, they love homeschoolers. The Reeves family, both their kids, Kaden went to a very nice college, Patrick Henry College, and they wanted him very badly because homeschoolers are very much a go-getter. And so if they want to see their grades, then they see their grades. But most of them don't care, really. So what does Asher want to do? He's going to be doing the business with me. So he's been doing school going to work with me. He goes to work probably twice a week with me and does computer jobs. Then he works with me in my shop on Wednesdays. So and I pay him for that, and he's moving right along. In fact, he's doing a decent amount of workload. Sometimes he's doing half or more than half on the days he's with me. So it's very helpful. And he's learning a lot. So some jobs require you to have a diploma. I've never seen one that says, have you ever shown your diploma anywhere? I mean, any job I've ever applied for, it's been, have you graduated high school? Yes or no? You check a box. No one says, can I see your diploma? And if they do, we give them the diploma. I mean, I got my diploma. It was printed up on a computer from the school I came from. They may want to see your grades if you have to prove it, but people lie on resumes all the time. So a diploma it's just a piece of paper. Even a real diploma from a real high school anywhere in the world is just a piece of paper. Now, if they want to see your grades and prove it, you can have fake diplomas all the time. That doesn't mean anything actually happens. Anyways. That's one of the questions I get a lot is about the diploma. Some people can't fathom the fact that we can just give them a diploma. Which again, a diploma it's just a piece of paper. Does Asher do the snow shoveling? No, he does not. Justus, however, is doing yard mowing. College was never on her radar. My daughter's a C student in high school. Saying this is straight A student, I'm fine. She was right. Yeah, I mean, for me, honestly, it's funny. I don't know, maybe 6 years. When we first started getting interested in all the Myers-Briggs stuff, has that been the entire channel length? It probably has been. Probably a couple years before we started the YouTube channel, we started getting interested in the personality types. And that's because my mom brought me a box of my, in fact, they're probably here somewhere. I don't show them to you. Okay, that's dumb. A box of my stuff, and it had all my old report cards from when I was a kid. And like, from like 3rd grade all the way through high school, all these notes from teachers. Not working up to potential, not working up to potential, not working up to potential, like over and over again. So I got B's and C's, a couple A's through high school because I didn't care, to be honest with you. I didn't care at all. And so I did just enough to get okay grades and go through. But after I decided went to college, I was paying, $1,600 a class, which that was at a time when that was a lot more money than it is now. And me and Andrea were poor. We didn't have any money. And so the thought of having to pay $1,600 and then failing a class and having to pay again scared the crud out of me. And so I actually graduated, magna cum laude, straight A's from college, and I didn't know I had a straight A ability in me. So it all depends on your focus. So. Homeschool to create a transcript of courses and grades. Yeah, I have transcripts. Absolutely. Transcripts are not a diploma, though. A diploma just says that you have transcripts that say you passed enough courses and got enough credits. That's all the diploma says. It's a quick, easy way to say, yeah, I finished school. And so no one wants to see your diploma. They just want to know if you did school. Diploma is more of a ceremonial thing than anything else. Oh, I don't think you were saying anything bad, Princess Bubblegum. Not at all. College is expensive. Honestly, I wish I had not have gone. I absolutely wish I had not have gone. I learned a lot of technical information. I can tell you how many times a Cat5 wire can twist in one foot and still function properly. But that doesn't help me in my day-to-day work of fixing computers. And in fact, the stuff I needed, how to fix certain problems in Windows and the things I needed to do, they didn't teach me any of that stuff. The A+ certification classes helped a little bit. But generally, I learned a lot of useless information. And the only thing I say about it is people will tell me, hey, did you go to school for this? And I say, yep. That's about all I can do. That's my diploma, saying, yep, I did. $1,600 a class, that's the same. My student classes is $264 per. Yeah, that's probably because, Mary Lou, you might be going to a community college. Community colleges are state funded. I did get some state funded credits. And actually, the way I actually did it, at the expensive college I was going to, was $1,600 a class. And if I didn't enroll in one class every 3 semesters, they would drop me from the program. And I had to reapply, and the requirements had changed. And so what I would do, I was still working. I was, being a dad and, young kid with Andrea. We were married. And so I would take one $1,600 class, and then I would not take a class there, go to the local community college, take a generic class for 2 semesters, and then the 3rd semester I go and roll back at the expensive class again, transfer those credits in, and then I do that over and over again until I eventually finished. It took me a while, but I did get it done. So, a church university, yeah. So that's not a normal price, though, for colleges. I mean, if there's funded by other sources, obviously they can be a lot cheaper. I think when I went to Chaffey College in California, I think I was paying like $60 a credit. It might have been $16 a credit. I can't remember. It was insanely cheap. So, but anyways. Because of the school shootings and the bullying our kids experienced in high school. Yeah, I agree. The bullying stuff, that's a real thing. Although, thankfully, Justus hasn't run into any of that. Maybe he will. I'm sure he will at some point. But hey, Kelly, 5:45 in the UK. Well, glad you could make it. I'm supposed to be organizing. I haven't done the entire thing, so. So I'm going to kind of move this over so I can kind of see chat at the same time. If I show the laptop chat on the screen, that's kind of low class. So, a little house of chaos. So this is English. The red ones are English. So this is RR1, which is reading readiness. That's for preschoolers. I don't really need to worry about that. I got a whole set already for Hannah. So 1003, 4, 5, 6. I'm mostly seeing if they're in order. 6, 7, 8, 10, 10, 10, 11, 10, 12. I don't have a 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 22, 23. So this is supposed to be R1 to 1024. This bin was the most organized of them all, so schools in Wyoming are very good. Yeah, I was surprised to learn, like the Campbell County, which isn't where Justus is, but one county over, when we first moved out here, they were the highest paid county or school district in the nation, which I thought was supremely surprising. It's not that way now, but it was, which of course, when that happens, you attract a lot of good teachers. So that's nice. 56, 57, 60, 60. And make sure not in the wrong bin. This will be 1025, 1060. Oldest grandson is in his junior year. Wanted to do a program hands-on at the college with welding. Oh yeah, they have a welding college here. I actually talked about doing that, see if Judah wanted to do that. And he had some interest, but I think he'll just probably, I kind of talked to him, his personality would be like to be in construction, build houses and that kind of thing. And he seems excited about that. So, because then he can build his own place, and that really is exciting to him. And so that's probably the job he'll get. I'm sure he could get a whole career in that, and he'd be awesome at it. So that probably what he does. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 78, 89, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. And then there's this, which I don't know what this is or what it goes to. Taking it out. Trade is much better now. That's what I tell my kids. You guys know that we have not, if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, me and Andrea talked about it a lot, that we don't feel comfortable pushing college. I mean, I grew up thinking you had to go to college or you couldn't make something out of yourself. And so I did. I enrolled right out of school, and I did. Thankfully, I had some community colleges, and my mom paid for it, a lot of it, until I was on my own, and then I paid for it. I did a lot early on, and then I took a long break and finished up. But oh man, I forgot where I was going. But what I don't think is a good idea is starting off a young kid, to go to school and then to get $100,000 in loans and start off with this crippling debt that they have to start off with. We very much want to be debt free. I'm debt free, and I think being debt free is a good thing. And it's hard to be debt free when you start off with $100,000 in debt. It's just not a good idea. I'd rather them get an apprenticeship somewhere or something rather than start off with a big debt. I just think it's a bad way to start their life, and if they give a girl get married or a relationship, it's a bad way to start a marriage and being in debt. That's one of the things people fight over is money. I'm sorry your mom passed away, Julie. That's terrible. Went to college, and my son chose not to as well, and now self-employed. I know so many people. I know a guy in the oil field who's got a master's in biology. And obviously he didn't need that. In fact, I know countless people that have got a degree they didn't use. That's even worse. You got the debt and a degree that you don't need. So obviously you have to go to college for some things, and that's fine. The option's never off the table. But I am not of the mindset that you have to go to college. I'd rather them not. School file, something Eden could do to earn pay. It is. In fact, I've often done it as a service project. Eden's one of my pace putter awayers. I just ordered like $700 worth of workbooks, probably a giant stack, that are all going to have to be filed in this now, and she does that. But it's kind of one of those things. This has been out of control for multiple years, probably even since Andrea was alive, and it's just needing to be done. Because there's also different versions of paces. 4th edition is the one that's most of them, but some of them are 2nd edition or 3rd edition, and then the score keys don't match up. We have some old paces with some new ones. You have some ancient old social studies history paces that don't apply anymore. So okay, 1, 2, 12, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So this is the most organized of all the things, I think. Now this is 1032. Out of place? No. Maybe I just have all those ones missing. 32, 49, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. So never mind. Not out of order. Yep, a degree does not necessarily mean a job. 68, 69, 71, 72. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and talking. It's always fun to get to talk. Hey there, Vondi. How many people we got watching here? They're watching me organize stuff. 200 people, huh? You guys are amazing. 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 96, 97. Wait a minute. Why is an Algebra 1 place in here? I'm not sure this is supposed to be in here. I guess it is. 1097. No, it's not. This is only supposed to be up to 1096. And these ones are just completely misplaced. There's a 1099 and a 1107. Those do not belong here. The high school paces are in that other drawer. So, oh, well, I hear you, Mustang Sally. It's nice to have people to talk to. That's a bunch of junk. There's no paces in here. This needs to be cleaned out too, but there's no workbooks in here, so I'm not going to even go through it. So I moved a year ago to Colorado. You're still in California. Oh yeah. I've been dreading this folder here, which has been there. Andrea put this stuff in here. It's a bunch of old tests, extra tests that don't have homes. I think they do probably need a home, maybe. Normally when you get a book, you rip the test out and they take the test. For some reason or another, tests get put here that have never been done and don't have a book to go with them. And I'm very confused as to how this happened. But I don't really need them. This one's got Asher's name on it, even though it hasn't been taken. So, you must have had to redo that pace or something, or I don't know. But I'm a little not sure about this, so I'm going to just take it out and put it right here. How many other homeschoolers do we have out in the watching right now? Any other homeschoolers? Let's see. This one doesn't have a label on it. Most of the time they've fallen down. Is 9th grade junior high or high school in your town? 9th grade is high school. I've never known anywhere that 9th grade wasn't high school. If there's places like that, I didn't know it. My son this I moved from Colorado Springs. Oh, I see. Most of your youngest one's out of 4, a single parent and working. Can't imagine trying with more. It's not easy. Thankfully, this curriculum is the best for it. It's the kids. It's very independent. A lot of the kids are responsible for a lot of their own learning. They score their own work. They set their own goals and decide what work they're going to do. And so I like that because it encourages them to be a self-starter. But it's also really good. A lot less work for the parents. I knew that you guys were homeschooling, Jen. Homeschooling 14 years. Awesome. I knew that, North Alaska. At least that you were homeschoolers. Moved with them, but I like my cancer treatment center. Oh, I imagine that. Sure. Son was homeschooled to the 9th grade. Kids have grown, but I homeschooled 11 years. Great. You're a senior in 9th and 8th. Awesome. I assumed you guys homeschooled. Lots of homeschoolers. So you guys got to go through a bunch of crazy stuff when you start off a new year too. I do need to find some. Excuse me here for a second. I know I have a box that has these labels. You guys have to stare at my belly while I'm looking through stuff. Files, labeling, maybe in here. Oh yeah. Oh, too far. Okay, thank you, Andrea. Every time I go through stuff that's all organized still that she did, it's always fun for me. She printed out nice labels, and I know how to do it, but I'm just beyond doing stuff like that these days. Someday if I'm really with it, and I can go through and print out special labels and make them all the same. I know what font she used. Homeschool year-round, so there's always something organized. Yeah, I know several people that do that. And of course that's nice, because then you can just take off whenever you want. And you can have a lot of days off. But I always thought it was fun to have the break. And so we just went that way. And now the kids would be devastated if they didn't get a summer break. How did this go in here? Okay, so these aren't exactly the right size, but they'll do. So 1025 to 1060. That means this one's supposed to be RR01 to 1024. Let's see. RR01 to 1024. Hey there, Mike. Is that right? Oh, that's great, Stacy. I see that. I definitely see the benefits to homeschooling year-round, but it's hard to change, you know. Darn it, are these not going to fit? They're the wrong spacing. Darn. There's some red ones that'll probably fit, but I guess it's better to have a red one. Andrea would be turning in her grave to make these not match. Oh, I got it right. Sunnyvale, that's where we used to go to Golfland. Sunnyvale had a Golfland that was one of the test grounds for Capcom. So they had the Street Fighter games before they were even out. Me and Sal would go down there all hours of the night sometimes. And I think some kids got stabbed there, and then they closed it down, which I guess is to be expected, but we were really bummed out. No, sometimes the Golfland's not there anymore, unless they rebuilt it. And maybe they rebuilt it, but maybe I'm thinking the Southern Hills one, not the one that's kind of by Disneyland. That's the one definitely isn't there anymore. But now all of a sudden I'm thinking Sunnyvale was a different one that we went to. Maybe that one is still there. That's awesome. Awesome. Very cool. There's a yellow one. Alright, so I got them in there. To 1029. Oh wait. 1029 shouldn't be in this. Or 28. So I go to 24. These ones go in here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 17. Okay. These are 26. Using post-it filling tabs. You just stick them on. It's so much easier. I don't know. I don't know what those are. You mean just the post-it notes behind there? Andrea put labels on the outside. She's the one that made most of these labels in here. I'm just not going to go through the trouble. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. Alright, that one looks good. Is Thomas in college? Nope. Nope. Thomas is just doing, he's the manager, night manager at the grocery store, and he's enjoying that, and I think he hopes to work his way up to own the store someday. He was just here a little while ago. It's our Naruto night, and he stopped by and watched with us, which was great fun. Okay, so this one doesn't have a label either. Well, this says it's 1025 to 1060, and this is 1061 to 1096. Meaning that we've got too many here. That's probably why we had to split this up. Hannah is super excited to start school. She loved it. She's been talking about it. Before Grandma Kitty got here today, she was like, can I get ready? Can I start getting ready? Can I start getting ready? Can I set the stuff out? And we're like, sure. She's so cute. 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 5, 66, 70, 73, 74, 75, 75, 76, 77, 77, 78, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 90, 91, 91, 92, 92, 93, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 98, 98, 99, 1100, 1102, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is only supposed to go to 1096. So I'm going to take all the ones above 1096 out. Will kids get Thomas's birthday off? Oh, that's a good question. Probably not. Probably not. It was weird because the kids got Justus's birthday off, although I might be confused because I thought it was no summer or fall didn't start till the 22nd, so I was thinking I was giving him Justus's day off the first day of school, but I guess it wasn't. So it's gonna be weird having Justus's birthday off when he's not here. Your homeschooling autistic stuff. Well, that sounds wonderful, Alicia. That'll be very rewarding for both of you guys. No one will care more about your son than you do. Okay. So let's see now. This could have been category of 1096. Then I guess this must be high school. I always get confused. I have a conversion chart on my phone, which I don't know where my phone is.
Are you recording with it?
No, I'm using the computer. Born 54, you're old. I don't know if you're old. Is Thomas still playing Magic? Yeah, he comes on Fridays to the Magic events, which is fun. He's a good player, so I like challenge. That's why I go to Magic. I'm very, very competitive, and so I don't mind losing at all. Being a dad means you lose because all the kids have been ganging up on me in games since they were born. And so I don't mind losing, but I like competition when it's a fair competition. So skilled players are what I like. And I remember the day that Thomas got to the point where I considered him very skilled, and so it was then obviously a lot more fun for me. So yeah, that was great. It is high school. Oh, thank you, Julie. So the high school paces go down there. I might move them. I might put them in here. I don't know what. The high school's been going down there. But that drawer is one of the worst organized drawers, and it's out of control. So for right now, I'm going to take them out. And we'll go from there. Then we got science in here. So I do miss him. It's really weird not having him around. I see a lot less of him, a lot less. And so that's disappointing. But I suppose that's what happens. I do think I get to see him more than the average person that their kid moves out. So, I mean, he works here or close by so that he comes after work when he gets off before he goes home. And, yeah, so we get to see him a decent amount of times. 1, 2... This one's got a magazine binder on it. It means it was somebody's folder once. Take that out. If 1096 is 9th grade, I'm going to give you an idea of what grade it is. I think 10th grade starts with 1108. 10th grade does. So I think 1096 is 8th grade. 1097 I think is 9th grade. 1097 to 1108 I think is 9th. Then 1107. Then 1108 to whatever that is, 1121 is 11th. Play Dungeons and Dragons and Meander's Day. Thomas is still doing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons stuff. He was just telling me that all their characters died. They just started a game and they died like the second weekend. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's good there. This will be 1025 to 1060. So 26, 27, 28. 30, 31, 32, 36, 42, 49, 50, 51, 52. This one says 1061 to 1096 and it's completely empty. Meanwhile, this one's full and doesn't have anything in it. So it's obviously very full. It's thicker than it's supposed to be. So I'll probably half this. See if they're in order first, I guess. 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 81, 82, 83, 84, 86, 88, 89, 89, 89, 89, 90, 97, 97, 98, 98, 99, 99, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's growing up no more, unfortunately, 45 year young. Yeah, most of the towns back in California, I go back, are much worse towns than they were before. The graffiti, it's taking them all over, and places, even the nice neighborhoods, you know. It's a shame. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. This one is a hodgepodge mess. Andrea had it half filing system for important stuff. I find these little folders every now and then that I really much enjoy. It says scrapbook. So she would find things she thought was cute, and then she'd save them. So this is stuff from Thomas's school days. Stuff he wrote and drew that she thought was cute. Humble. The little things here. It's really cute. They're fun to look at. See the things that she thought were important. I was lost this morning. I felt a lot better by the end of the day. There's all kinds of interesting stuff in here. This folder says Andrea on it. It's got a bunch of things that she thought were important. Little things there with all of her little notes. I see someone start crying here. Here we go. Problem. She would do this. She would list all of her problems out there. Justus and Eden are not focusing. She has kind of solution. House is not getting clean enough. Need more video editing time. Lots of bickering. I can relate to all these things now. No writing time. She never did get to write her book. No reading time. No Greek time. Chore time isn't natural. No sewing time. Little problems she had. Things that she's doing. Pregnancy notes. Anyways, I don't want to fall down a hole. I've been staying out of the grief holes for the most part. That's not exactly true, but I'm trying to. This is a little card. Oppo Asher. He wrote the wrong letter at the end there. We've been teaching him Greek. Asher's really good with the Greek. That means from Asher in Greek. I didn't know what this was. It's just a note that a card that she gave me for my birthday or something. Man who gives amazing back scratches. Shares all of his good snacks. Gives up free time to fix things, build things, visit people, care about everyone. Cares more about loving his family than loving himself. Who faithfully comes home. Who makes pizza after a long day. Who lets kids climb on him. Who sits in the passenger seat to teach his son how to drive. You are more than we deserve, and I love you so much. I didn't know that was in here. I should go through this. It scares me that I'm going to find more things like that. Can't see anymore. I get enough of those. Enough good cries. But now I keep trying to find other things. I don't know how to explain it, but after you lose somebody, I find myself looking for a secret note that she left me. I've got to definitely avoid, you know, I didn't have any closure. When she died, I didn't even get to talk about, we didn't get to talk about the fact that she was dying. It's like, as soon as we found out she was going to die, it was making plans to try to get her home. And then getting her a ride, loading her up, sitting on the thing. I always assumed we were going to land, and then she went into a coma when that doctor gave her that way too much overdose of fentanyl. I think I'm going to keep this card out so I can look at it. No, that's not good. I'm always looking to find some. I don't know what I think I'm going to find here. I shouldn't be digging through memory lane. Was she aware that she was going to die? Yeah. I have some video footage that you'll never see of when we found out. But she was pretty out of it at that point. She was confused. Didn't know what was going on exactly. So the guy came in and told us. It was not our doctor. And some doctor who said basically everybody else is too chicken to come tell you that your wife's dying, so you don't know who I am, but I'm going to tell you your wife doesn't have more than 24 hours to live. And so that's how it happened. And then she didn't hear him. She's like, I want to go home and get better with herbs. And I'm like, well, he just said you're going to die. He says, no, he didn't. He had to come back. And anyways. That was a good card. Those are the kinds of things she told me all the time. She always made me feel amazing. Oh, this is a not a drawer I'm looking forward to going through. I don't know that I can get rid of all this, go through all this junk back here. Part of the storage. Who's this? These are little skits. I'm imagining she wanted us to all act out someday. Maybe someday we will. How she lived, not how we die. Yeah, it's easy to say. But when you lose somebody like that, it's harder to do, you know. Some of this stuff in here I can definitely take out. These are some old tests for Thomas. When Thomas was little. They can all be stored in the long-term record, which I will do, and that'll save me some room in here for paces. More tests that have been scored. Yeah, I know it will take a lot of time. Here's some more tests I can take out for if I had the guts, I'd read you some of these book reports that were Asher's, but I don't probably have the guts because Asher wrote some crazy, disturbing book reports sometimes. Book reports from Thomas. Map of Africa. Thomas moved out. From Maine researching new curriculum, kind of funny. Oh, that's awesome. Report cards, I'll keep some of those. Here's some tests from Judah, which we absolutely don't need to keep in here. Give me some more storage space. Some tests for Justus. I have a place I file these tests now up in the rafters. Tests for Eden. Even a bunch of tests for Solly. Oh, here's another scrapbook page. Scrapbook folder. Take a couple things out for you guys to see. Solomon was always very artistic. Always. This is him tracing stuff. You can see his perfectionism in his tracing. And if he got out the lines, he had to scribble it out so that he could get back in the lines again. And he's probably really young here. This is reading readiness. So he's like probably 4 when he was doing these. Which is cute. Aww. I don't need to be seeing all this stuff. Just gonna mess me up. Okay, well that gave us some more space. Thomas wants to do his own YouTube channel. I don't know. I'm assuming if he wanted to, he would do it. I'll bet he does not. That's my guess. So this is the New Testament stuff, New Testament survey. We don't really do many of those. Speech. Bunch of weird score keys, biblical studies. We don't use most of these. It was sweet when she was doing that chemistry. Score keys. These are all score keys for high school, for the weird subjects. World geography. We can use those. 1100.
Hey, that's you. You can see your turn.
Oh man, I'm running out of ambition. And we can at least fix up some of this section here that's falling apart. He probably will have a creative job of some kind, or whatever he does, he'll do it creatively. Sitting audition for the role of Invisible Woman. What? I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Sandy. Sounds like a good thing. If I've missed some of your comments and that's what that's about, I apologize. I'm only half paying attention because I'm working on some of this stuff. You're not trained in music school, may not have become a pro musician, so I agree with you. That's awesome. Sorry I didn't see that. Okay. These ones have got to have a little box bottom. Okay. I don't have any more of those cardboard pieces that go in the bottom. Okay, let's see here. 73, 74, 75, 76. You think homeschooling leaves out social skills, social learning, etc.? It's a double-edged sword because, again, in a lot of ways, the social aspects are some of the problems with public school. Obviously, I want my kids to have lots of friends, and so that's why we do things like youth group, and we go on field trips and stuff. And of course, I do a lot less of that than Andrea did. But again, the kids today don't always have the best attitudes or treat people the best way, and so them influencing your kids is a mixed bag. So I mean, if you see how kids behave a lot of times these days, that's not a good thing do you want to grow up around. If you know what Lord of the Flies is, it's where the kids rule an island and it devolves into this social terribleness where they are killing each other. And so that's not a good thing either. Just turning kids loose. I remember when I was in high school, there was these two boys that were fighting during class, and they clearly wanted to get into a fight. And the teacher says, I don't care what you do outside this door, but you're not doing it here. And they said, all right. And as soon as the class got over, those two boys beat each other's brains out just outside the door. The teacher didn't do a thing. Sat there and cleaned in his room and just let it all happen. And said, not my responsibility. You're out of my class. Fine by me. And of course, eventually someone came and broke it up, but it wasn't him. And I remember thinking, that's terrible. And that idea that, the bullying, again, if there was an adult right there, there would be no bullying. If there was a teacher right there, there'd be no bullying. So the idea that you leave kids alone to just socialize is not always awesome either, right? So the socialization aspect is a double-edged sword. I sincerely think, as far as the best education your children can get, I sincerely believe with all my heart that homeschooling is the way to do that. And I believe being able to teach them about God is extremely important to us. Being able to teach them in a way that suits your child. A regular teacher is never going to have much more influence in your kid's life than a good babysitter, maybe, if it's a good teacher. If it's a bad teacher, it might be a lot less. If your kid's picking his nose and eating it, the teacher's probably not going to say anything because it's not her kid, none of her business. And so there's some disadvantages to that. And of course, but that's still, like I said, we did it for Justus. I did it for Justus, and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to meet more friends, and I couldn't take him enough places to give them opportunities to do that. And so, like I said, it'd be different if I had somebody else here with me who could be here all the time and help and take them on more field trips and do more things and give them more opportunities, but I can't. So this works good for us. So this is supposed to be 1073 to 1108. So this goes here. 1108. That's almost all of these. I understand our decisions. Everybody's got to do what they think is best. And that's what I'm doing. Obviously, I put Justus in public school, not only because he wanted to, but a lot of it was that. But I wanted to give him a good education. That's obviously, and actually the reading, writing, arithmetic, the actual education itself is ancillary to what we're wanting to teach them. We're raising adults. We're not entertaining children. And so we want kids to be well-rounded adults in the future of their lives. I've probably forgotten much more than half than what I learned. I don't really care if my kids forget, what a hanging or a dangling participle is, or if they remember the formula for density, which is mass over volume. I don't care if they remember those things. I'd rather them be good, godly people. And so that's really what it's about, as far as I'm concerned. The education part, the actual education, is secondary. That's one of the things I see the most. You know what? I can't go out to eat with my family without somebody coming up to me afterwards or while we're there and saying, your kids are the most well-behaved kids I've ever seen. And that happens nearly 100% of the time we go out in public. And people all the time tell me my kids are super nice and kind. I hear all the time that my kids are at the work at the grocery store, how they are the kindest grocery store workers they've ever had. They're super nice and da-da-da-da. And see, I love all that. That's what I want. I don't care if they remember all the details of school. You know what I mean? Yep, raising adults. That's absolutely it. In reality, if you want your kids to be, if you want them to be welders, you let them hang around welders and learn how to weld. If you want them to be whatever they want to do, you put yourself in that environment. if you want your kids to be responsible adults, putting them in around a bunch of kids isn't always the best way to do that. That's not to say you can't do it. It's just, I'm always going to have strong opinions about homeschooling. I just am. But even in our situation, that's not everything. And there's always different ways, different things to do, different ways to understand things. And it's not good for everybody. So you got to take every situation into consideration. And as a single dad, this is just what works good for us right now. That's a good one. I'm a believer. So that's starting with 1073. This last one is 1072. So I'll put all those in here. I'm not going to put labels on right now because that's the last thing I want to do. So, but at least in a numerical order and all in folders, I'm going to be happy about that. So. You learn in school that you actually never use again. It really needs for schools to be more specialized to specific interests before college. That's actually the idea of unschooling. So unschooling is a measure of teaching them just the things they need. How to change the oil in their car, if you're on a ranch, how to milk a cow, how to do all these very, very practical things. And minimum on the complicated stuff. You don't need calculus in everyday life. You just don't. I went through calculus 2 and vector calculus, and I wished that I had done something more practical with my time. Super fun. I mean, fun, arbitrary. I didn't like doing school, but I like the concepts. 14, 16, 30. I'm going to take this one out. Younger children encouraged to save money. I remember a great life lesson means meal allowance every once in a while. Probably not as much as I used to when Andrea was alive. But I mean, that's part of why we give them the allowance. We let them make money by the minute, so they have to clock in, which is learning life skills. They see how much money they earn for how much work that they do, and then they have to spend it or not or save it. Most of the time, by the time they get a little older, Solomon's absolutely capable of saving, and he sees his money disappear. Then he sees something he wants, and if he saves his money for it, he's super proud. And so we definitely encourage them to save, but it's probably not been near as comprehensive. Everything in my life has slacked a bunch. So we did everything amazingly, as far as my opinion. We did everything awesome in every category with our kids. And then when Andrea's gone, I'm still doing all the categories for the most part, but everyone is lesser than it used to be. So it's not as thorough. They're learning to save, but probably not near as good as before. I don't use these dividers anymore. There's no point in even using them. Ollie's amazing. He's such a unique kid. He's so creative, and he's such a perfectionist. That's also a reason why he's one of the more difficult eaters. His little mind is so imaginative, He just thinks about something, like angel hair. He doesn't like angel hair pasta. And I'm 90% sure it's because he's thought about angel hair. And that's gross. Who wants to have hair in their mouth? Oh my gosh, this one's a nightmare. And that's true. I'm a believer. Thank you, I'm a Vegemite. Absolutely. That's all summed up in the fact that Justus is going to public school. Because honestly, maybe you guys think it's cruel. If Andrea were alive and home with him, I wouldn't have wanted him to go. Even if he wanted to go. I mean, your kid might want to go out and smoke crack and play in the street. That doesn't mean you let him do it, right? Kids don't know the best decisions for their life. So just because a kid wants to do something doesn't mean it's the best for them. But all things considered, considering what we have, the struggles we have, the situation that we have, and considering the things he wants to do and what's important to him, this is the decision I think that's best for us right now. So, if little children come to me, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, think about what he meant by that. Do you think he meant little babies and little kids? I mean, obviously that was the situation at the time. But there's probably more such as these, right? Not necessarily just about like these. Remember, whoever's not into the kingdom of God as a little child cannot enter it. That doesn't mean we got to go get younger, right? So overwhelmed with the thought of homeschooling my kids. Let me know how you're doing it, but have the confidence to stand your ground. People like me who doubt myself too much when questioned. I don't blame you there. I don't blame you at all there. I've just gone to countless homeschool conventions and seminars. I've heard every speaker that ever could be spoken at in homeschooling situation, so I'm well educated in the advantages and the benefits of homeschooling. By the way, if you haven't seen the Jay Weil video I have on this channel, out of all the years I ever went to homeschool conferences, one man spoke one time, Jay Weil, and I'm going to tag him on this, and well, I have him on the other one. If you search our channel for Homeschooling Jay Weil, I believe it's W-I-L-E. I don't think it's W-H-I-L-E, Weil. Anyways, you'll find a video, and I said they need to give this guy's presentation every time. We don't even need to go to conferences anymore. Just have Jay Weil give this same presentation over and over and over again. And so I got his permission, and it's uploaded on our channel. So if you want to see the best video on homeschooling, encouraging you that you can do it, and how it doesn't matter if you know how to teach, doesn't matter if you're smart or dumb or rich or poor or enthusiastic or not, whether you're going to do a good job, whether you're a go-getter or a not, or you're lazy or you're messy, go watch this, and it'll tell you no matter what you're doing, the benefits to homeschooling just with raw data. That's what this whole video is. It's raw data. And they actually went through and said, like, okay, here's parents that are homeschooling their kids that have a master's education, parents who are educating their kids who have high school education, parents homeschooling their kids who have only elementary education or no education, and across all those, all their kids did from 30 to 35% better than public school kids. It didn't matter if they were educated. It didn't matter if they were rich. It didn't matter if they used this curriculum or Alpha Omega or Rebecca or ACE or you know, all the different types that are out there. It didn't matter what curriculum they used. Didn't matter their income status. Didn't matter what part of the world they lived in. Nothing mattered. Everybody who homeschooled did awesome. And the kids were well-rounded and did great. So you should absolutely do that. His eyes checked. Recent member was so looking to close angles in some videos. I don't think he needs that. I don't remember what video you're talking about, but I would notice he's got pretty good eyesight, so I'm not worried about that. Jay Weil, yeah, that's probably it, right there. So if you search for Jay Weil, go to our channel, and you can click on click on the Mills family there after you do this video, and type in Jay Weil into the search. You'll find it. You should absolutely, if you're thinking about homeschooling at all and think you can't do it, or if you're a mom and you're doubting yourself or wondering if you should change curriculums, I don't know. I don't know what to call it, but there's a moms seem to go through this stage in homeschooling where they're like, oh my gosh, my son is struggling with algebra because algebra is hard, and so I don't like my curriculum. I'm gonna have to go find a new curriculum, and then we'll get that new curriculum next year. They'll have a new curriculum, whole new curriculum, and they don't like that one. And then the next year they got a whole new curriculum, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna do alpha Becca, I'm gonna do alpha omega math, I'm gonna do a Becca history, and blah blah blah, and they go mix and match, and they kill themselves, jump through all these hoops, trying to do all these different curriculums to give the best possible education to their kids. And this video Jay Weil shows it doesn't really matter that much. ACE is the easiest on the mom. It's easy for moms. It takes very little interaction. You basically have to make sure the kids don't cheat. You have to test them and encourage them. But it's not a lot of work. It's probably the least amount of work of any of the homeschool curriculums that's out there. Because the one thing that does matter is if you quit as a homeschooling mom, that's going to be a bad thing. So do what makes it easy and stop trying to micromanage everything. Jay Wild, how it's spelled in your video. Thank you, Princess Lovegun. I appreciate that. You're not going to ruin them. Because at the end of the day, you can find the best teacher they've ever had in a public school, and nobody loves them like you love them. Nobody. And they'll never get one-on-one schooling all day long. No school will give that to them. So, you know what? If they're in a public school and your kid fails a test, say he gets 50%, fails a test, is the whole class going to stop and go back over it just for your son or daughter because he didn't get it? No. They're going to go forward. Class can't stop for one person. And that kid who didn't master that data is going to forever not know that data. And if it's something like algebra, good luck with the rest of your schooling career, you know? Less interaction, the better. Well, I mean, see, that's the thing. I mean, there's some things about AC that I don't like that we use. There's lots of little things. But you know what? All the curriculum's got disadvantages, all of them. So find one that's easy and easier for you to manage, and you have something. Just stick with it. Whatever you do, stick with it. If you want to try new curriculums every week, knock yourself out. I think you're killing yourself, going through way too much effort and hassle. But here's the algebras I can grab that I brought earlier. Watch it twice. Super encouraging. Oh, that's awesome, North Alaska. He's amazing. I told him once, he gave he used to always teach or give conferences at our homeschool conventions. And I told all the people, that powers that be, that this guy should be saying this message every time. We should hear it every single convention every year. And then he gave one once on the benefits of vaccination. And I'm not, depending on how you feel about that, in the homeschooling community, that's kind of a no-no. And ever since, after that, they didn't ask him to come back. And I felt really bad, because he believed what he believes, and what I believe or what you believe is irrelevant. But we can have disagreements on things. Either way, he should still be there. Actually, I think that they don't have the conventions, at least the one we went to, they don't have them at all anymore. If you guys ever watched that video, the Feeling Dejected, on our channel, that was, we went to a homeschool convention and basically got asked to leave. The guy came and told, we brought our kids, obviously how are you going to go without our kids? And he basically said that our kids weren't welcome. And he told us, hey, keep them quiet or get out. And it was before it even started. They were being totally good, sitting there playing. You can actually see it on the video. And I'm not going to lie, I got mad. I got mad. He says, you want us to leave? We're out of here. Of course, we were taking a video, and we left. Never went back. And as a result, that guy ended up getting let go from the school board he was on. and all kinds of. He was a judge, and yeah, he got in trouble in all kinds of parts of his life for the way he handled things. And then the convention fell apart, and it stopped being held. So we were both so hurt. I was so mad. I came to talk to that guy, and I was like, I was in his face, waving my finger at him. Probably shouldn't have been, but you make my wife cry, boy, you're gonna get it. Sitting here looking at my belly all the time. I wanted you to see the drawer, but ACE have placement tests. They do something called diagnostic testing. So if you're thinking about starting with ACE, you go through this diagnostic test, and it'll tell you based on what your kids know. Each one of these books are called a PACE. It's a packet of accelerated Christian education, and each one covers a certain concept. And so it'll tell you which concepts your children don't know. I believe you can do diagnostic testing for free at schooloftomorrow.com, I believe. And it'll tell you your student needs to do this number of this subject, this number of that subject. They call those gaps in your learning. So you got to, before you start, you take all these gap paces. So you do all the different workbooks scattered all over the place, different numbers, to master the concepts that you're missing and you have holes in their education, and then it recommends you start at a certain level. So that's why as a homeschooler, you're not like necessarily 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. It doesn't work that way. When you finish all your workbooks in every subject, you're done with school. Maybe you're at what you could call an 11th grade level in some subjects, and you're at 9th grade level in some subjects, and 10th grade level in other subjects. And wherever you're at is where you're at. And so no point in forcing yourself into a mold that says you're bad at math, but you have to be in 10th grade, so now you're in 10th grade math. It doesn't make sense to do that. What was the website? It's School of Tomorrow, schooloftomorrow.com. And like I said, there's things with this career I don't like. They're kind of old. Some of them are old, and some of the concepts my kids make fun of, and some of the there's some things that I don't like about them. But as it's by far the best curriculum that I've ever found, and I'm not interested in finding another one, because if I was on any other curriculum, I could not be a single dad in homeschool. I could not. But since we are using this curriculum, we can just make it work. So some states are more homeschool friendly than others. Absolutely. Wyoming's a very homeschool friendly state, thank the Lord. But some states are better than others. But heck, even in California, one of the worst states to homeschool in, you can still do it easily. You just got to make sure your ducks are in a row. If you're thinking about homeschooling, you should go join the HSLDA, which is the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. And if you ever get in trouble or public school comes a knocking, especially if you take your kids out of public school to homeschool, on some states like California, that'll put you on their radar. And then they'll be watching you really close and maybe causing you grief. But if you're a member of the HSLDA, they'll pay all legal fees if you ever get in any trouble and come in and represent you and take care of everything. They'll give you advice, they'll tell you what to say, what not to say, give you forms and help. It's wonderful. Every homeschooler should be a member of HSLDA. I'm not sure why the English is in a lot of sorts here. 7:30. Well, absolutely prayers for you, Sue. I pray that things go smoothly for you.
I thought we were probably going to take. You said it, but I didn't really.
9, 17, 18, 20. Wow. 11, 20. That's what this one's broken. not even that expensive to be a member of HSLDA. I had some, they even helped me when Andrea passed away. I was not sure about some things, and they helped me out. Well, that's true. Seven, 11:08. As a kid, she will be homeschooling her kids as a wealth of knowledge for our state rules. The kids will be a great help. That's awesome. I'm all for the Bible verses, but if it doesn't have a point, you don't need to spam it either. Because there's plenty of people here that are not Christians, and I want to be kind to them as well. I try to do a good balance of my faith in our life and being respectful of people that don't share my faith. So that's algebra. This is going to be for geometry. Do I have work tomorrow? Oh yes, I do have work tomorrow. Although I don't have a lot of jobs scheduled, so I'm going to stay home and do some more school stuff. Tomorrow is kind of like our real homeschool first day. It was technically today. We had some book work done, but I was so busy getting things organized and getting things going that we didn't do much actual work today. So I still need to do the kids' goal chart, which I haven't done. So I've still got a lot to do.
Before it started, so we should just have all this in our room started.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Why?
Okay, geometry. That's the end of the geometry. So this is business math. We're doing business math for Judah. Did I hear you say the business math is a lot easier, Judah?
What?
Did I hear you say the business math is a lot easier so far?
Well, I've looked at the first case and it looks pretty easy. So.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
You gotta take 3 units of math, and Judah was doing algebra. He's just finishing. Actually, you just finished it, right?
I don't really know.
You starting business math now, or you're not starting business
Well,
math
yeah,
now?
one more page.
Oh, you have one more book of algebra, then he's done. And algebra 1. Then we're gonna put him in business math, and he's gonna be such a relief to do that. Business math is very practical and useful, so it's gonna be a good thing, especially for him. I think that'll be good. I like to think he'll start his own business. Maybe after he gets into construction, start his own construction company. That's what I would like to see. But you know what? Whatever works for him. I want him to be able to have the skills to do that at least. Let's for take a month off for Christmas. Well, that's fun. Okay. So we've got math, geometry, business math, and social studies folders out of control. Need another folder for that. This is going to be a boring video to watch in the replay. Nobody's going to watch it. But it's still nice to hang out with you guys. How many people we still have on? Still have 200 people, huh? Is that right? How many people do you guys see? Or does my number hasn't updated, maybe? You guys are troopers. Seven. Ooh, that's world geography is out of place. 97, 97. This is 97. Oh yeah, so it's still a lot of people there. How do I have so much high school social studies? 97, 98, 98, 99. Oh my gosh. How do I have 3 sets of 9th grade social studies? And I just ordered some more, I think. 98, 99, 1100. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now 1108 starts. 1108 starts 10th grade. So I'm going to put them in their own folder. Hey, does anybody else here use ACE that's maybe more familiar than I am? I'm always familiar with administering ACE. I've loved it as a curriculum, but I haven't done this side of it very much. And I was really confused in ordering the social studies high school paces. So if any of you guys know about that, let me know so I can ask you a question. Oh, 1108. 1109. The one that I was looking at was 1108 was the first one of 10th grade. That's actually not what I'm concerned about. I'm confused about the world history, because we have some paces in here that show social studies, just generic social studies, 1125 to 30, 32, all these just that are just, it just says social studies. Here's 1132, just social studies pace. But I can't find those now. Instead, it's got to be like civics or world geography, and I've been very confused. Because even when I was ordering today for the geography, I got like 11, I don't remember, 1108, 9, I don't remember. It goes like 1140, 44, I don't remember. It goes so far, like 4 or 5, maybe it's 14, 15, 16. Then it quits. And you got these generic second edition, ugly, weird paces that you got to do that I'm really confused about. And what those are, and a whole new numbering system. Hi there, Elsa. Glad you could make it. $25, $29, $32. They're always updating their curriculum every now and then. They've redone some of the social studies. They've revamped several of them. But oh, you know what? I have some. non-box bottom folders. Only hold a few. I'm going to put the civics. I don't have very many civics paces. Oh, those are the old ones. Well, after looking at it all morning, I think I decided you needed them both. And I think that the self-pack ones take the place of the rest of them.
Or is it 1 + 1 is an equation?
So I don't know, but I finally decided that's what happens. I ordered them both, which is ironic. 'Cause I think I got a whole set here. I think I just found an entire set of them here also. 34, 35, 35, 36, 37, 38. Civics. I don't know how. I don't think civics is a requirement, but U.S. civics. And here's some random social studies paces that don't belong anywhere. Economics. These are more civics. So this is civics 1. Hey Asher.
Hi.
2. 3. That's 30. Well, that's economics. Economics. 1, 2, 3, 6. I'm going to put economics with civics. Thank you, Peanut. Oh man, I'm tired now. I want to quit. This is Algebra 1, number 1098. That goes here.
What's the definition of an equation?
English 1, 1100.
Any fraction or composition.
This is 1130, 1113. 1100 goes first. This is 1110. 9 goes in front of that. Another 1110. Another 11. Another 11. Quit and come back tomorrow. I'm almost done though. Two 1112s. And 1113. Okay. Oh shoot, what is all this? $97, $98, $99, 1100. There's an 1101. I didn't have that one. You say your second bathroom has been going? Oh, it's been going great. It's been really nice. So it was full circle. We had one person who wouldn't do it, which was Thomas. I think he's got memories of being in the other bathroom with his mom when he was younger. And so he was not going to stop using the bathroom upstairs. So even though the boys had a bathroom downstairs, Thomas would often clog up the one upstairs, which was fine. But he moved out, and now it has full adoption. So the kids are using it. Heck, I go down there a lot because I like that shower. It's got a giant rain shower head that puts out way too much water. And it's nice when you want to relax. Although I did put a throttle thing on it. Found this really neat little slider. You can adjust the amount of water on a whim that's going into the shower head. And if you put it down really low, it makes your hot water last like 3 times longer. And it doesn't actually sacrifice much pressure. So that was a pretty neat trick. Probably saves money too. Did the boys move bunks when Thomas left to keep the ones in? No. He had barely left that day, and Justus was already moving into his bed. So Justus was really little when we started the boys' bunks, and so he was too little to. We made him be on the bottom. He couldn't even climb to the upper bunks at the time, and so he was on the bottom, and he was really wanting an upper bunk. So he was ecstatic. And I let him paint it, and she gave him new colors, got new bedding, new mattress and everything, the whole 9 yards. I think I'm gonna quit. I can't do it anymore. I made a mess. I can't do it anymore. Oh, thank you, Super Chat Cat. It is late. I'm ready to be done. How long have I been doing this? How long has the stream been going? Almost 2 hours, huh? Have I seen the new floors? Oh, they're in a couple of videos. They're over there. I just refinished them. They're not actually new. I just sanded and refinished them, and then got a new rug. So I think I've made a bigger mess than I started. You ever sell the old van? Yeah, we did. We did. It was a little bit of a nightmare. I think, I can't prove it, but we had it advertised. Me and Andrea had always planned out. We bought it for $1,000, and it had needed some major work done. And there actually was one of those mysteries. It ended up being it had the wrong flywheel. I think they changed the transmission on it, and they put it had the wrong flywheel, so it would strip the gears. If you're not a gear person, you probably don't know. But it stripped the gear. Anyways, it caused it to over and over again have the flywheel on the starter to go out. And we finally fixed it. So we put probably $5,000 into it, which was a lot. But then it was a good van. It took care of us for a long time. And we always said, one day when we sell it, we'll sell it for $1,000. And so I was really ecstatic to sell it for $1,000 because it's kind of like me and Andrea decided that, you know. And so we offered it for $1,000. Had several people test drive it, and then the guy was going to buy it. He said, "Yep, I'll buy it." And he called me back the next day. He said, "I drove it to work, and it won't get out of second gear." I was like, "What?" And it wasn't doing that. And I come to realize, I think somebody who test drove it wrecked the transmission. So I think the people that test drove it before did that. And because I can't remember now what happened, but it made me realize, you know what? Something's not right. It wasn't doing this before. So anyways, we were going to see about getting it fixed. It was going to be like $3,700 to get the transmission redone. And then I was going to just turn around and sell it for $1,000. And we had somebody else come in right after that who's local here in town, and they wanted to buy it. And I said, well, I'm going to have it checked out because I knew something was weird with it. At the time, I didn't know the transmission was messed up. I just knew it was acting funny. And the guy said it didn't switch gears, it didn't shift. But then when I went and drove it, it seemed to shift. So, anyways, the guy wanted to buy $1,000. Then he's like, well, I said, I probably shouldn't even sell it to you because the transmission needs to work. And before you know it, like that evening, he found that he was a car mechanic, and so he found a transmission used. I can't remember how much. It was a good deal, and he says, "How much will you give it to us for?" And I think I sold it for $300 or $400. So, and I was honestly, it could have happened better than that. So, about me putting in a bunch of money, then selling, taking a big loss on it. Somebody local bought it, and we see it all the time. We see it driving around, and it just makes me happy that it's still around and I can see it, and it gives me this weird lump in my heart to see it drive by, you know. And for a split second I think, oh, there's Andrea. But so I get a little jealous sometimes when I see it parked somewhere. I'm like, that's my van. Even though I'm really glad that it's blessing somebody else. Yeah, so we sold it.
I went out for a second to tell you something. I didn't brush my teeth. I was going to the bathroom and I didn't brush my teeth.
To use a giant sander? How long did it take? No, I actually decided long ago that a giant sander is not the way to go. At least if you have an old floor with lots of uneven spots. When we bought this place, I remember I went and rented a giant floor sander. It cost me a lot of money, and I sanded and sanded and sanded. But of course, if you've got lots of uneven spots, you have to take off like an inch, you know, to make it all level. Which a big sander, it's just not going to work. And so by using a small sander with little palm sanders, me and Asher did it with 2 different palm sanders, you can kind of get in the divots and you kind of get in the little spots and you get it all sanded without having to make it perfect. So it makes it nice and smooth. So we did it in an afternoon, but alrighty, guys. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me all this time. What's next? Tomorrow's Friday, thank God. Yeah. Not sure what we'll do. We do need to do a package opening video with some mail and stuff. I don't know if there's a magic event that I want to go to tomorrow. So if I'm not doing that, not going to magic, then maybe we'll do that. The kitchen area too? No, I didn't yet. The kitchen when we moved in had this old like 60s linoleum, and we just put this peel and stick tile over the top that you've seen. It looked really nice at one time. It needs to be redone. Andrea always had dreams to take it all the way down, but I had already tried taking up that linoleum once before. It was a nightmare, and I'm not sure what the condition's going to be like underneath that. So I didn't do that. I'm planning on getting married again, and I want her to be able to redo everything the way she wants to do them and have the freedom to really remake as much as she wants to remake. So I've been into refinishing more than redoing the whole floor, which will probably get done with a whole new medium, probably put in some sort of a laminate, or probably won't do real hardwood floors, or maybe even tile, because that's kind of her style, my girlfriend's style. So yeah, so I'm kind of just dragging my feet on that. Yeah. I really don't want to sell the house. In addition to having no debt, this is a lot of sentimentality in this house. So it takes a pretty big, amazing woman to be able to be willing to move in like that. So the least I could do is make sure she can redo it like she likes. Obviously, she wants to be sensitive. She told me she doesn't have to change anything, and I was like, no, I want you to be able to. So, but we'll figure a nice way to keep the old memories alive without, totally getting rid of them. So. Alrighty, well, I think I am going to get out, guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with me. I probably got some people on the other side of the world that I normally wouldn't see. So it's probably, what is it? That was 5:45 in the UK then. It's probably going to be 7, 8 o'clock in the UK now, huh? She is amazing. So, alrighty, well, thanks a lot, guys. We will catch you next time. See you